All right, here with Dante Leone coming with me from, where are you at right now?
I'm in Canada right now visiting some family.
Where at in Canada? Where are you from in Canada?
So I'm originally from Harrow, Ontario, but all
Yeah.
my family now lives in Windsor. So Windsor was like the closest city to us out in the county, out in the country. So that's where most of my family is now.
All right. All right, so I'm coming, I'm over here at the Flow Sports HQ in Austin. I guess this is the first episode. I guess we'll call this the Michael Steers Show. I think I'm going to start doing a few of these a week, talking with
Yeah,
people. So
yeah.
just basically how things going with you. How's your life going right now, Dante?
Man, everything's really good. Busy, training a lot, and um, teaching, instructing. Just life's busy, but life's really good, man. Everything's been great.
One of the questions I had that I was starting to talk with you before we got on the air, and I said I'll just wait till we get on the show. Is, are you going to focus mostly no gi now, or are you going to be are we going to see you in gi tournaments, or are you going to be no gi super fights?
Man, you'll still see me in like no gi tournament or gi tournaments for sure. Definitely no gi tournaments, but my focus are going to be kind of the professional events and things like that. And I've had success and got exposure at no gi. More so, I think they're more prevalent in no gi, so that's kind of going to be my focus now. As far as to fight to make the sport more professional, I think that's the route we need to go, and that's kind of what I'm going to be focusing on more.
Yeah, I mean it's worked out very well for you. You've had a lot of big wins in the last year. I mean, who you beat? You beat Izaki, you beat
Yep.
Edwin Najmi, you beat Lucas Lepree. Who else you got on your list? Of Renato Canuto recently?
Yeah, I beat Hanato. I beat Marcio Andre.
Marcio Andre. Wow, those are some big names. Uh,
Yeah.
let's start with the Lucas Lepree match. What went through your mind when you got on his back, or even when you were about to get on his back? What were you thinking at that point?
Man, so that was the funny thing about that. That's actually a position, like how to get to that sweep that I did, the little single leg. That's something that I drove for a long time in mind with him because I knew how he liked to pass. I knew his hand placement on his knee through pass. I kind of studied what it was. We emulated some similar situations in training, so I really saw how he was going to be um, kind of postured inside my guard. That way, I was able to kind of develop a small series from there, from that half guard position and that half guard with the knee shield and the reverse de la Hiva. Those are my best positions as far as a guard. So it was a pretty like unique fight because he likes to pass the style of guard that I play.
Yeah,
So I think we kind of had to both do some kind of game plan or preparation in order. He had to deal with like my half guard from his position, and I had to deal with him on top from that half guard I like to play. But I ended up seeing him kind of settle in that position. He kind of was settled there, and I saw the opportunity to go. And then it was just autopilot after that. After the first move, it kind of just all chained together.
so you studied Lepree, you drilled that specific position to try and set up a back take from that single leg like that.
Yeah.
So he got in the position. You recognize like this is it. This is what I've been waiting for.
Yeah, so the whole fight, like if you watch the fight, I was kind of a little bit scrambly.
Yeah.
I was kind of trying to like sweep. I think I got a couple nice sweeps on him, even though there were no points. So that's why it was kind of like a looser feel. And then once I got into a position, I kind of felt him stop and kind of look over everything, kind of like he was evaluating things. And I saw that opportunity there when he was stopped to kind of bring him into the game somewhere where I knew I could score. Because, ADCC is a different rule set. You got the first 5 minutes is like, it doesn't really matter what happens unless you get submitted. You can get, we saw like how many guys get their back taken in the first 5 minutes, and guys get their guard like blown through, and
Yeah, you can get just
like
obliterated for 5 minutes and then come
yeah,
back to win 2-0 or
exactly.
yeah.
So a lot of people kind of forget that, and a lot of people take that into account. I think with ADCC, like, oh, I took them down or I swept them. But it's like, it's the first 5 minutes. It doesn't matter. We don't know like the speed or the pace that this guy's going to be ready for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, like you watch Buchecha in his matches, like he just goes through the motions. It's like, and then all of a sudden, like the
Exactly.
points start, and he just, reverses the guy. So when you got to the back, what went through your head? When you got on the back, you're on the back of 6-time or whatever world champ Lucas Lepree. What are you thinking
Yeah.
there?
So like I had when I first got the bag, it took me a while to get my second hook, mainly because I was like so paranoid if he could escape. Um, I knew I wouldn't like. Man, I was so tight on that position.
Yeah, you're not going to get that chance again.
I wasn't going to let him go anywhere.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
That's not going to happen twice in one match
No.
with Lucas Lepree. You got to take advantage of that, right?
Yeah, and I had like the seatbelt with the Kimura grip and like the body triangle. Like I had everything, dude. It was like airtight on that. So like when I got there, I knew I could get there, and I knew if I the back was like the position, and that studying because this was my first ADCC. So studying before ADCC, the back was the position that like when you evaluate everything is probably like your highest percentage to score or finish in ADCC. Because you're probably not going to pass anybody's guard in ADCC.
Yeah.
It's super hard.
Very rarely happens. When I did points analysis, there wasn't many guard passes. Yeah.
I think, like, Mateus Dinnis got a guard pass against Hanger in, like, dying seconds. But to get a guard pass, you have to hold the guy's back more than 50% on the floor.
Yeah, which leads to your first match. Like
so, yeah, I was on my side for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, man, if I just stay on my elbow right here, I can just like hold out. You know what I mean?
I think basically everybody watching that first match, I was match side. I thought they were going to call the pass, but it's just like you said, it's tough to secure those points. And what about there? Are you just bridging like? I just got to fight for my life and make it to overtime.
I knew it was like you had to keep your back off the floor. And I knew these guys have a wrestling base, so having some like idea about wrestling, I knew that I couldn't let my back be on the mat. I had to be on my side on one shoulder, and then I could like stay safe from the points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once I did, that's an example of the rules there in IBJJF. That's 3 points like all day. You know what I mean?
How long did that? For people who aren't aware, now we went from the Lepree match. Now we're talking about round one with Satava. Which if you would have given up this pass, you would have never beat Lucas Lepree. Like that's how much things.
Never been in the next fight.
Yeah.
And it was close too. Like it wasn't like it was.
Yeah, like
it was close. He was definitely making me work for it.
Satava basically for like I don't know how long was it, like 20, 30 seconds. He had you basically pass. You were like inches away from giving it up. How long did that time feel for you? That had to have felt like ages, huh? Bridging against Satava for all that time.
it felt a while, man.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, that's kind of all the kind of stuff that you have to train and be aware of for something like ADCC. You got to be like, I think a great example of awareness of points in ADCC was like Gordon when he fought Hulk.
Yeah.
Because he was getting taken down, like, I think he got taken down like 6 times.
Really?
Like, literally 6 or 7 times. And you see, like, how many times he got his butt on the floor. And he was able to,
not getting his back on
rules, not put his back on the floor and stay active, and he would come up. So there were no advantages. There's no 2 points or whatever like this. And then he ended up getting to the back. So I think that awareness of the rules in ADCC is like huge. So 20 seconds is a long time to stiff arm somebody like Satava for sure. But I mean, I'm glad he tried to jump on my back near the end too. Like once he realized he wasn't getting the points, he tried to like hop to my back. So that was a relief. They didn't have to hold him in side control anymore.
He came out and got that big takedown in overtime as well. So you got a match coming up against somebody else who also. But he basically had the same path as you at ADCC. You guys both made the semifinals and took 4th, right?
Yep. Yeah, he was 66, I was 77. But we pretty much had the same thing going.
Yeah, so Tyrul Tolo, I mean, I believe he's still 16 years old, right?
Yeah, he's like 16 or 17.
Yeah.
He's a phenom, man.
You're fighting him February 29th at GrappleFest 8 in Liverpool?
That's
what are the rules? Is this a submission only?
This is submission only, 15-minute fight. Very similar to a fight to win rule set or any kind of like submission only rule set with a time limit. It's basically if there's no submission, we go to referee decision.
All right. Well, what are you thinking about this match? I mean, this is a match I'm sure a lot of people probably don't want to take against a 16-year-old that obviously is really good. I mean, he beat Wagner Hosha not long ago.
That says it right there. I mean, he beat Wagner Hosha. The kid's got 4th at ADCC. He's obviously world class. I don't think somebody like that deserves to have their spot like taken away.
Yeah.
When I was 16 and 17, I mean, I would have probably would have given my left testicle to be able to compete against somebody who was a world class brown belt or black belt. You know, that opportunity, we just didn't have it. So I don't think it's right to not take the fight just because you're a name or you have some kind of rank. But at the same time, somebody who's a black belt needs to step up and show like this is what it is. You know what I mean? Like we're competitors, we're fighters, we're athletes. We don't try and nickel and dime like promoters, or we don't pick our opponents. We just go forward and fight. If he's this good and he has the opportunities to compete, the fight's been offered to me before. It's offered to me this time. And I don't think it's right to turn it down. You know.
How big is he right now? Because he was 66, but I think he's gotten a little bigger.
He's not a small kid, man. He cut a lot of weight to get to 66. I doubt he's going to be 66 again, ever. The fight's at 175. It's at under 80 kilos. I basically said for them to – I actually said, do they want to do it at 170? It wouldn't have been, like, my preferred, but it could give the chance if he wanted to do it at 170. And they agreed at 175. So I got to think that the kid's growing. I got to think that the kid's big. I don't think the kid's going to be even my weight for very long either.
Yeah.
He's right now. He's 16 or 17 years old. He's got, his fingers touch mid-calf when he's standing up straight pretty much. I mean, he's got these long arms, long legs, and I don't think he's going to be a small dude when he grows up.
What are you thinking going into the how do you match up with him stylistically, do you think?
Stylistically, I think I'm a pretty good matchup for him overall. I mean, pretty much everything. I know everything that I do can give him a lot of trouble, for sure. If I apply my game, my jiu-jitsu, I know I can give him a lot of trouble. I know he's going to have a hard time being able to withstand the pressure and being able to withhold me. But I know that he posed a lot of problems himself, man. He's tricky. He's, like I said, he's got those long arms and legs. He's flexible and explosive. So he's not exactly like just some kid who you can just maul and just Donkey Kong a little bit and he's going to quit or break down. I mean, he trains with some dudes who are strong, probably not as strong as me, but strong, and he's definitely going to be ready to take some pressure and ready to take some physicality. So I know that going in.
Yeah, I mean, he trains with a whole room full of world-class guys around your size, so he's used to it.
100%, man. Pretty much everybody trains this, like, middle heavy. I mean, some of the guys over there, whole kind on, like, heavy and super heavy, but he's training with big dudes all the time. So I don't think just because I go in there and my presence is going to psych him out, or I don't think that if I, collar tie him super hard, he's going to want to quit. I don't think that at all, man. I know the kid's going to be tough. Day in, day out, he's probably getting smacked around in the gym a little bit by these big guys, these physical guys who are training. So I don't think that it's anything new to him to take a beating or feel some pressure,
Let me ask you something. Noogie World, you broke Jaime Canuto's arm. If you get a 16-year-old in that position, are you going to take it easy or are you going all out?
Oh man, I never want to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
In the heat of the competition, it is what it is. But you know what I mean.
He's gonna do it to you. He's gonna snap your stuff up.
Man, that's the thing. My dad told me that. My dad told me that saying from when I was a kid. What do you think he would do to you?
Yeah.
So the competition's the competition. He's 16. He's got a bright future. I don't think he's gonna let anything break in half. But I already know that he doesn't care about breaking something in half. I saw what he did to Paulo's knee.
Yeah, I think Paulo's still on the shelf in that one.
I don't think
brutal knee boy.
He didn't look like he felt too bad about it either. So
yeah, he's coming for you.
I know he can do the same thing to me if he's got the chance. He's
do
the same thing to me.
If you're 16 years old and you got a chance to break Paulo Miao's leg, who wouldn't go for it? That's
take that. Of course, you take that. For sure. I mean, if you're like the one guy who leg locks Paulo Miao and he taps, you are absolutely a legend.
Yeah.
I've never seen those guys. I mean, I think I've seen Joao Miao one time submit to a knee bar. One time.
All right. So you like the submission-only rule set? I mean, you compete in a lot of different stuff. ADCC, KASAI is different rule set. IBJJF, Noogie World Champion. What's your favorite rule set out of these? What do you like to compete in the most, you think?
Man, that it all depends, honestly. I mean, this is going to be that's kind of like a difficult question because there's a lot of different rule sets in jiu-jitsu, and there's a lot of ways that they're really good, and there's a lot of ways that they're kind of poor. Like anybody can take any kind of rule set and kind of fuck it up. You know what I mean? Like, for example, like Fight to Win promotes like really, really good fights, and I think their rule set really promotes action. But you'll get two guys in there who stall.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the IBJJF, it's like
all depends on who's fighting, right?
Pretty much, it like lately, it's almost looks like it encourages stalling, and the fights are just like, you know, pretty like slow and methodical, and no risk is taken. And then you get two guys in there who want to scrap, and it's exciting. So it comes down to the athlete. I think some form of like submission only, EBI and longer time limit matches, or submission only 10, 15-minute matches, I think those are the most exciting for the fans, honestly. Especially because that way you can choose, these promotions choose the proper fighters to have in there. It's not going to be, I'm not going to mention any names, obviously, but it's not going to be like the guy who stalls from 50-50 versus the guy who plays lapel. No time limit, submission only fight. No one wants to see it.
Yeah.
People are going to be bored to tears. But when you choose guys who are like come to scrap and guys who have great matchups, fight's exciting. I don't think you could put, like, example, I don't think you could put Canuto and I in any rule set that we wouldn't have an exciting fight.
Yeah. Well, I mean
just honest to God.
That goes, like, I think that's where the pro side of things is really going to start shaping it because, like, for instance, we just had an event, Who's Number One, that was IBJJF rules, and the matches were great because I made the matches, I chose exciting people to be in there, you know? I looked at it like, okay, if you're the best in the world, but we know that you're just going to do 50-50 or just try to wait for the last second sweep, yeah, I mean, nobody's going to pay you to fight, man. Sorry, I mean, you can have all the titles in the world, but nobody cares about you, nobody wants to see you fight. So, I mean, we had 17 matches IBJJF rules, there was only 2 refs decisions. There were 6 subs, you know, so it's like if it's the right guys, and I think that's where the pro side of things will separate it, where it's like, all right, you can win a bunch of titles if you have a boring style. Like you know, some matches are going to be boring. Like, if you're fighting, if 2 of the best guys in the world are fighting, I mean, it'll be boring for some people. I like technical matchups. I mean, not everything's going to be one guy's getting, you know, it's open up, guys are killing each other. Something's going to be close, but there are guys out there who, even in the first round when it's a big mismatch, are still just trying to win by 2 points or win by an advantage. Like, that's how they do every round. Yeah, people aren't going to care about you. And you just brought up Renato Canuto. You just had a big win against him, the rematch at KASAI. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that was a great fight, man. That was an awesome fight. Not only was it a big win, quite possibly with everything attached to it, the biggest win of like my professional jiu-jitsu career as far as like those pro events go. Definitely, I would say my biggest win. It was a fight that delivered, you know. My whole goal with this thing is to...
You would say that's your biggest win? Hold on. You say that's your biggest win?
Like, as far as all the professional events, I think my win over Lepree was bigger, like, in the grand scheme. But as far as these professional events, I mean, this fight had a lot of hype. There were a lot of question marks about the first fight. There was a lot of talk. There was some tension between us. You could see in, like, the interviews and how everything was. It was a very, very, like, almost like UFC type.
Yeah, speaking of those interviews, there was something where, what did he say in the interview before with Hal? He said something, and then you had a comeback after the match.
So a lot of people didn't understand what I said.
The
fight. So I heard a couple of people giggling in the crowd. I think they might have caught it. But he said that he was going to pull me into the deep water and make me drown.
Okay.
That I couldn't deal with his cardio and I couldn't deal with his pace. And a bunch of people like messaged me and said like, "What the fuck, man? Are you know, doesn't this blah blah blah? How is he saying that?" And I'm like, man, dude, everybody has the right as an athlete to think that they're going to beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, it's just confidence.
Why would I go into a fight with you and think that I'm going to lose when somebody asks me, like, what do you think about Mike? Well, he's really tough. I don't think I can beat him.
Yeah.
Obviously never going to say that. I'm obviously going to talk confidently. In the way I talk, when I'm talking confidently, I'm not talking down or saying how bad I'm going to beat somebody up. But if that's your style, man, it is what it is. You know, I wasn't going to get offended by that.
Yeah,
But
what's he gonna go in there and say he's gonna lose? But anyway, so
yeah.
so you didn't really take any offense to it, but you got some messages, and then so he said he's gonna make you drown, and then you win the match, and then what do you say in the post fight?
So I said a little saying. I said, "You stop swimming, you drown.
Stop swimming, you drown. So you just
You
kept
stop
swimming.
swimming, you drown." So if you keep swimming, you keep moving. It's like a shark, man. A shark can't stop swimming. He dies.
What
So
made you think of that? Did you think of that the night before? You came up with it on the spot. How'd that come about?
there's an old saying. You met the guy, and I work with him quite a bit. His name's Dan Jones. He's the guy at EAO Sports there, the strength coach. I know you met him before, and he's got a whole bunch of crazy sayings. And that one, like when I heard he was gonna make me drown, it just clicked in my head. You stop swimming, you drown. If you stop getting better, you go nowhere. So
how's Jonesy doing?
Jonesy's great, man. I see Jonesy twice a week. I lift with Jonesy, and
there's a great. If you guys have seen the Dante Leon, it was before ADCC, right? The video with Jones yelling.
The greatest hype man ever. That's Jonesy. That's Jonesy, man.
Yeah. How's your lifting going then? Speaking of Jones, how's your lifting going? You still lifting heavy? How's it going?
Of course, man. Of course. I mean, I always mix it up, but I'm always going conjugate method. I'm always doing, max effort work, dynamic effort work, and things like that. I've definitely, over the years, I've changed my program. I've changed some of the things I do. Yeah, if you notice, I might look a little bit. My weight is actually lower than it was before, like naturally, but I look bigger. Like I look physically bigger and stronger, and it's kind of because I've changed my lifting a little bit. I've added more volume, more repetitions. I'm not, I'm doing quite a few exercises through the week. Everything kind of goes in waves. You do like a lot of reps one week, and then it tapers down and it comes back, and so you're not just constantly doing like the most, so you're breaking down. But a lot of weeks I'm doing 5 sets of 12 on things like this, like getting a ton of volume in, 5 sets of 25, 4 sets of 25, things like this. So I think my lean muscle mass has actually grown, and I feel quite a bit stronger.
What are your lifts at these days?
Oh, so man, I mean, my best box squat this year, I box squatted with a camber bar, which everybody knows what that is. It's the one that goes like way down.
Yeah.
The weight kind of held around almost your hips. It's like a big reliance on your core and your hips to keep that weight steady. I box squatted 565 for 2.
Okay.
And then
that's not anything. That's not anything. We just had Chad Smith on, who's number 1. He squats 1,000 pounds.
Yeah, Chad Smith is one of the strongest dudes ever. Man.
You gotta get your.
I mean, nobody knew who he was. I was sitting here nerding out about Chad Smith. I'm like, Chad Wesley Smith's fighting, man.
That's how that's how he got on. He DM'd us and he wanted to get on, and actually, like the CCO at our company, Ray, is like a lifting guy, and he knew who he was, so he's like, yeah, put him on. And then he's cool though. So you're at 565 there. What about like deadlifting and benching? Where you at on these things?
So I haven't honestly. With the program I've been on, I've been keeping my deadlift at like no less than 3 reps. I've been doing a lot of deficit work. The heaviest I've done lately with deficit, I did 475 off of deficit for 3 reps, and that was like a 2 mat deficit, so like those little rubber mats, so probably like 1.5 2 inch or whatever. As the deficit, and that was stiff-legged too. So that's kind of like the most I've done lately.
What's your form like? Is your form just terrible, or what? You just got dog shit form that everybody critiques online, or?
Man, if you post something online, everybody's gonna talk shit. But, I mean, I got a nice little argument about technique versus strength. So I mean, if they ever wanna beef about that, I'll hit them with that. They won't know what to do. I mean. Technique and form is one thing, but anybody can have perfect technique and lift like really lightweight,
Yeah.
Your technique only breaks down, if you're not strong enough. If I put 400 pounds on your back or 500 pounds, you probably couldn't squat it, or you'd make it look like shit. But if I put 1 plate aside on your back, you could look perfect. You could do it perfectly. it doesn't really take into account a fucking thing, you know. Not a lot of clean and jerks in the Olympics. Not a lot of lifts that guys do in powerlifting competitions are picture perfect. Sometimes you see guys like bleeding out of their head or out of their nose, and they're shaking around and everything like this. Is their technique bad? No, they have proper technique. The weight's just heavy.
Yeah.
You know, it's heavy enough, and they're not strong enough to maintain their technique through a lift.
Yeah, you're pretty fanatical about it. You told me one time, you sent me a text, something about like lift until you like see death or something, some sort of crazy say.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. People think it's like, man. People think it's the most challenging. One of the most challenging parts is strength training, man. I mean, you don't want to do it sometimes. You really don't want to do it, and you really have to take into consideration, like, you have to put your ego to the side. You really do. You really have to put your ego to the side, because at the end of the day, you're not a fucking power lifter, and your numbers are they're just for your own, like, satisfaction. I really want to be a 600-pound deadlifter. I really want to do it. I think about myself lifting 600 pounds, but I'm not loading up the bar to go to 600 pounds all the time, and that's not my goal, because my goal is to be better at jiu-jitsu and stronger for jiu-jitsu. I know a lot of days when I'm training, like, I'm training in the morning or drilling in the morning or drilling and training in the morning. I'm not going to have that same, like, muscle energy and endurance to be able to go, like, above and beyond, like, set a PR. Maybe my best that day is 525. Maybe my best that day is 545, or it's a deficit at 455. Maybe that's all I have, you know, but it's a max effort for me. Like, it's literally like I couldn't put another fucking 5 pounds on that bar. I couldn't put anything more on it.
What's your all-time best for deadlift? Like Ultimate Dante, when you were at your heaviest, like what?
When I did my heaviest deadlift, I deadlifted 565.
565. What about squat? What was your top squat?
600.
600?
600 is my best squat.
What about benching? How high up you get at benching?
Man, benching.
Can you do 135? Can you do that? Can you do a plate on each side?
I can do a plate on each side, but I can do. My bench is like I'm in and around the 3-plate range.
Really? Wow.
So 315. So like I can do. Last week I did a 295 double. It was a struggle, but that's about where my bench is. My bench is around the 295 double, triple, and then anything above that, we're looking at 1 rep, 305, 315.
Did you like for instance ADCC 77 kilogram, or when you square up with Nato Canuto or any of these guys, do you feel like you're stronger than everybody at your weight?
For sure. I don't, man, honestly, like, I don't feel, it's hard for me to feel somebody's strength.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. It's hard for me to, like, lock up with somebody and be like, hey, that dude's strong, you know?
Yeah.
Hanato was strong, but, I mean, he was strong for a vegan. I don't think he's, like...
He's vegan? I didn't know that.
My kind of strong. Yeah, he's not, like, my kind of strong. I don't think anybody in or around my weight division is not going to, like, put their hands on me. I feel confident in saying this, and I'm going to be like, wow, that dude is powerful.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't see it. I've been lifting and doing this shit a long time, and I get stronger and stronger, man.
How's your wrestling coming along? You still over there at Foxfire, lacing up your A6 and all that?
Always wrestling, man. Always wrestling. Foxfire moved out. They're at a different spot now, so the big old I miss the big warehouse, man. I really do. I felt like I was in a movie when I was in there every time, man. It was so cool, but different spot now, but I'm still wrestling. I still have a lot of guys to work with and drill with my wrestling, things like that.
You go to actual wrestling, like you're in there you got the ASICs on, you're leg lacing people, you're doing all that. You're doing actual wrestling practice, which is something a lot of jiu-jitsu guys don't do.
But I think that's wrong, man. I think, like, you can group this with, like, the lifting talk too, is why would you do something sports specific in the weight room? The weight room is where you get stronger.
Yeah.
You know, and you listen to the guys who are the strongest. Listen to Chad Wesley Smith. That dude's fucking stronger than everybody. Those are the kind of people you listen to about how to get stronger. The kind of people you listen to how to be a better wrestler are the kind of people who wrestle.
Yeah.
You don't listen to the people who say, like, oh, well, the arm drag to single and double is the best takedown for jiu-jitsu and wrestling. And that's, you know, you just need to learn takedowns. That's bullshit. You need to learn how to wrestle. You know,
Yeah,
that's
there's
the
a lot.
advantage.
There's a lot of variables in there. There's a lot of positions that is a lot different than just learning a single leg and a double leg. There's
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I mean, when you learn how to wrestle, you're not learning how to do a takedown. There's a
yeah,
lot of guys who have nice, really good takedowns that they do and
just
things
your
like this, but their wrestling is not there.
just like stance and motion. Like if you like look up John Smith, the guy you're a big John Smith fan. You watch his videos for
You,
motivation.
you
If you
know
watch
it.
those John Smith clinics online, there's some great material available on YouTube. Just free John Smith clinics. He talks about when he was young, he would just spend 30 minutes a day in his yard just working on his stance of motion. Just not shooting or anything, just walking around in his wrestling stance and down block and all that. Yeah, and that's something that people don't really think about.
I think people discount the importance of those things that we don't have in jiu-jitsu, because when you study jiu-jitsu, there is no standing technique for jiu-jitsu. Everything standing has been derived from somewhere else. It's a
Yeah.
judo takedown, it's a wrestling takedown, it's a combination. Even the flying armbar is a judo move.
Okay.
I mean, judo's been around for how long? They've been doing this in judo for how long? Flying submissions and things like this. So jiu-jitsu doesn't have a whole lot on the feet. I think people discount the importance of those kind of things that you're talking about: footwork, stance, motion.
Hand fighting, your head position, all that
Everything.
stuff. Yeah.
It's stuff that a lot of guys
Scientific,
are blind to. It's
man.
stuff that the whole sport was blind to this for a really long time, and people got away with it until people started to study it and get good at it.
Yeah. Who are some of the wrestlers that you like these days? If you got some guys that are currently competing, who are you a fan of?
I love Isaiah Martinez. I love Imar.
You're an Imar fan. I didn't see that
I'm
one
a big
coming.
Imar fan. I love his style. People told me he's a prick in real life, but I'm not gonna say like.
Yeah, you're a prick in real life too, though. So
probably, yeah, exactly. If you don't talk to me, then you just think I'm an asshole, and you tell everybody I'm a prick. That's
yeah,
usually
people
what
probably
happens.
say that about me. But okay, so you like Imar? Anybody else? You
I do like Imar. I like Derringer. I really do.
you like
I like his style.
Derringer? Yeah.
And then other guys that I like, I like Gilman. Like his personality, his style's pretty good, but I really like his personality. But I think right now the guy to like watch who's the most impressive is Jaden Cox.
Oh, he's amazing. He's amazing.
I mean, I'm
he's
not
going up to
gonna-
97. He's going to wrestle Snyder for the spot. That's crazy.
Unreal.
Jaden Cox is like the guy at Worlds that like I just felt confident. It's like when I was a kid watching Jordan in Illinois. I just felt confident that Jaden was going to win no matter what was going on.
Yep.
He was the guy.
Mhm.
What about DeSanto Soriano? When they throw down, who you got there? You team DeSanto or team Soriano?
I think Soriano, man.
You
I
like
do.
Soriano?
I like them both. I like them both. I can't say I don't like either one of them. They're both crazy. They're both work hard, man. I like those kind of people. And but I just think Soriano. I think Soriano's got it.
All right, now let's move back to jiu-jitsu. I think I lost my mic. Let's move back to jiu-jitsu a little bit. Future fights. Who do you want coming up after Ty? Is there anybody on your radar? Do you want like a Nato rubber match? Is there anybody you want a rematch to try and avenge a loss? What are you thinking?
Not the rubber match for sure. I mean that's pretty much set in stone. I would say we're 1-1. They're both exciting fights. I think people want to see it again. I think there's going to be some time between now and the next one. I don't think that we should go like 1, 2, 3 right in a row.
Yeah.
Have our like only 3 fights or our last 3 events in KASAI against each other. I'm sick of the guy already. I'm sure he's probably like sick of people hearing him talk about like fighting me too. So probably somebody else in a KASAI event before I go with Hanato again. As far as like fights, I think the promoters do a better idea than I do, man, about like who to fight.
Yeah.
I never really know who to say. I never really.
Would you want another shot at Wagner or Gary?
Of course. I mean, that's goes without saying. Any loss I have, I want that fight again.
Yeah.
For sure. And in due time, I know I'm going to be able to fight everybody in the division. You know what I mean? I hear a lot of talk about those 2 fights for sure, like Gary and Wagner. I hear a lot of talks about a JT fight. There were talks about this Thai fight, and it ended up happening. So if there's talks about a fight or a fight gets enough like exposure out there, it's going to happen. The promoters are definitely going to put it on, man. But anybody who's like top level, 77 or 85 kilos, I'm down to fight. I like to fight both divisions, so I'm down to go either or.
All right. So Nogi Worlds, you finally got the gold medal there. What, you took third twice there? Is that Is that my correct?
Third twice. Yeah, 18 and 19 I took third. No, 17, 18 I took third both years at middle, and then finally 19 last year I won.
How many fights do you have this year?
I had 4 fights this year.
Okay, so you finally got it done. You fought Jaime, one of the matches of the year, in the final. How did that work out? You guys are both from GFT, but you don't really train together. How did it work out that you didn't end up closing out? What happened there?
He pretty simple. He asked what I wanted to do, and I said I wanted to fight.
Yeah, because you would have probably had to take the silver medal as the low guy on the totem pole, I'd imagine.
I mean, when we look back, it's I'm only 24 years old, and I like to think that I have a large career and that I'm going to be there again. And I can speak very confidently and say that, yeah, I will be back there, or I will win another world title. And I truly believe that in the deep of my heart. But the reality is you never know. I mean, you keel over dead tomorrow. You just don't know what could happen. It's a world championship finals at adult black belt. It's just not something that happens. Neither of us have a world title. And to be honest with you, deep down, I don't feel it's fair that him or our first world title is something that's just shared.
Yeah, because it's not real. It's not like
I'm not in his dream. Like when he's dreaming about being a world champion, I ain't in his dream, and he's not in my dream either. When I'm dreaming about being a world champion, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no fucking. I just can't wait to close it out. Nobody says that. Nobody says that. I can't wait to be a world champion. It's an individual sport. We're on teams and we have help. I understand, but when we compete, it's individual. I am a world champ. I'm a fucking Pan Am champ. That's what people want to say, you know?
Absolutely, and it's like it's not the same thing too. It's like you go out there, you guys put on the fight of the tournament, had an epic fight. Winning a world title like that is not the same as just like, oh, okay, you can have it. Okay, shake hand on the yeah.
That's it, man.
Not as good for your career. It's not. I mean, you're not gonna cherish it as much. What do you think about closeouts in general? What do you think about closeouts in the sport?
So I hope that fight. I really hope that fight has changed the landscape a little bit. I hope it's changed the way people look at closing out. I don't think. We're not talking about Chicago Open. We're not talking about the new breed where you and I are buddies and we train together. You train in another gym and we get to the final and we say, let's close it out and you can go through and fight in the Open, or we'll go fight the Open. Like, it's not in a high school gymnasium. People book off work. People travel across the country, across the world, and sit in that venue and watch these finals. Especially at the Worlds and Pans in these larger tournaments. The crowd's packed. Thousands of people there. People sitting down to watch you compete. If you're closing out, it's terrible for the sport. It's terrible for the sport. Do you know?
Yeah. It's bad for their career, too.
It doesn't make sense. And there's times that I understand. Paulo and Joao, they're brothers and they have their own thing. I get it. But I think when we're talking about all this respect and thing that we need to have in jiu-jitsu and the love and respect, I think one of the things about respect is being able to put your ass on the line against somebody who you love and somebody who you consider a friend and being able to come out of that with no ego. Yeah. I think that's a thing that's truly, truly amazing. We're not punching each other in the face. No one's going to die. You know, this isn't MMA. We're not going to kick each other in the head for 5 rounds. We're just going to go do jiu-jitsu.
Same thing. If you train together, it's the same thing you do in the gym.
Yeah, if we train together, then it's just what we do in the gym. It's just that I'm not giving up anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's a beautiful thing. To me, that's beautiful. That we're both willing to lose our world title. We're willing to put it on the line against you, against somebody who I consider a friend, against somebody who's my training partner, somebody who's a teammate, whatever it may be. I think that that's what it should be, because we can't put all this pressure on about it. It's just jiu-jitsu. It's just one 10-minute round, or it's one 6-minute round, or it's whatever. Why not? Why not?
And I try and tell athletes too. I try and tell young athletes, like, hey, if you want to just keep closing out everything, like, it's gonna affect your career, like your marketability, whether people want to come have you fight. Like, all these super fight events aren't looking for the guy who accepted a silver medal in a closeout. You know, they're looking at how you're going to get on these super fight events as they see that you went to IBJJF and you kicked somebody's ass in the final. You know, and it's like, yeah, it really sets people back. sets the sport back. I think that's obvious. It's clear as day that it sets the sport back. I mean,
100%.
But I mean, is there anything else? You got any other pet peeves out there in the jiu-jitsu scene? Anything that you see that like on Instagram or whatever that you're like, oh man, not this again?
Man, you know, some guys got to stop trying to be fucking Gordon and Nick Rod and Gary and these guys, man. Some guys just got to stop. There's some high-level guys out there, like, you know, the thing is about nobody understands about why Gordon does the thing that he does or why Gordon talks the shit that he talks or has the posture that he has. Everybody thinks that he's just being a fucking prick or everybody thinks that he's just an asshole, you know, but people don't look, like, down and some people who, like, deep down, like, to why he does it or what the reason is. But some people out there are high-level guys, and they're really talented, and they're forcing this. You know, when Gordon does it, he kind of looks cool, man. He can pull it off. He has the look. He's got the little swagger. He's got the little, like, he's got the little hop in his step that he got. He's a little pimp, you know what I mean? And then you got other guys out there trying to do it, and it's like, come on, bro, that's not you. Just be you.
Yeah, be yourself.
That's the thing about me that I've always said is I'm me. I'm who I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being like, this is really how I talk. I don't like watch what I'm saying right now. I swear and I drop a couple F-bombs and, you know, I do this. But the person that I am is I'm not the person. I don't feel comfortable talking shit like that. I don't feel comfortable being a loudmouth like that. And I don't have any disrespect or anything against somebody who does, because if that's the way you're going to market and you're going to be, by no means. I just can't be that person. I got to be me. I got to be this. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like.
And I think there's people out there who should be like me. I know they are like me, but they're trying to be like him, or they're trying to be like this McGregor type. It's like the problem isn't that we have McGregor types. The problem is the kind of people that are trying to do it. Yeah. Bro, that's not you. That ain't you, man. Yeah. There's only one of them. There's only one McGregor. It's not everybody. This doesn't need to be a change in the sport. That's a change in one human. That's just a unique human who came in and helped out the sport, which is what Gordon does, right? So it's not the fucking way that everybody should change.
Nicholas is good at it too. Nicholas is a natural at it. Driving people crazy.
Nicholas is great.
Yeah, he drives people crazy. He has since the color belt stuff. But it's like, you know, I interview everybody, and I know everybody personal off camera too. And it's like, I see it. It's like there's two different, like, complete opposites. It's like people are trying to go all the way out and be like Gordon. They're trying to do the Gordon thing, and it's coming off as unauthentic and cringy. Or they try and go the exact opposite, and it's like they're a politician and they won't say anything, and they're just the most boring person on earth. And it's like, well, then nobody's going to care about you. And it's like you're saying, you can just be yourself. All you can just show up and be yourself. You can be confident, like you talked about the Donato interview. You can be confident without talking trash, and then still have an interesting personality where people can relate to you and this and that. Like so many times I go to interview people, and you know, we'll be talking, have a normal conversation, and be saying this and that. And I get them on the camera, and they just completely change to the most boring person on earth. And it's like, well, nobody's going to give a shit about you. Sorry. Like, if that's how you're going to be. You don't got to talk trash, but be yourself. Hulk's good at it, too. Hulk's good at showing personality and not being a trash talk or anything, just being himself when he gets interviewed. But exactly. You're right.
People like genuine. If you're genuine, then you're just, there's no bullshit. People like it, man. People like that. And people like Gordon online because there is no bullshit. He'll call anybody out. He'll call white belts out. He'll call blue belts out. It doesn't matter to him. You know?
Yeah, he's always in there fighting.
Life. He'll make you delete your Instagram account if you cross him. So no one's safe from him. That's the thing that people like.
I'm not going to mess with Gordon on Instagram. Oh yeah, you got to shut your. He'll send his people after you. They went after Macy's and Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Who knows what they'll do to me?
It's not just that. It's like, I don't talk shit online, and I'm not that guy. And Gordon's never came out to attack me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? I've never, like, brought up Gordon in a negative way, and Gordon's never said anything negative about me.
Yeah, you don't pop into the comments and bring up Felipe Pena when he says something?
You know, even if my name is brought up, Gordon talks about me very respectfully and very, as I would say, normal. Like, he would talk about me in real life. He talks about me very normal, you know? And that's because I'm not the guy out there who's like talking shit to him or like, oh yeah, well, you know, you don't have a system or you don't have a this or blah blah blah. I'm not that guy.
You're gonna regret that one, and it drives people crazy too because he doesn't lose. Everybody's just waiting for him to lose, and it's just not gonna happen. So
no, exactly. I mean, he's super good on the mat. Yeah. When he gets off the mat, he's super successful. in his like life and everything. He's still young and has like more shit to do. So I don't. If he wants to talk shit, you kind of just have to let him talk shit. You better just keep working in silence to beat him. That's about all you can do. Because if you're talking shit, you're outgunned. You know.
Yeah. Anything else? Any other gripes on the sport or Instagram? Anything people are doing out there that you're like, these idiots again? You know what I don't like? We're talking closeouts. When people share the gold medal and both take a picture with the gold medal,
that is ridiculous. Yeah. That is ridiculous. Yeah. One fucking guy got his hand raised, man. I mean, why do you gotta stand on the podium? That's so ridiculous.
Yeah, there's not two. Yeah, and then they let them. They change places. Like one guy, they'll change places and swap medals so they can both post the gold medal pic on their Instagrams. No, there's not two champions. This is just a basic fundamental concept of sports.
No. You gave up the medal. The medal is not yours now. You know, that's just how it goes. It's simple. Simple. Another thing that I don't like on Instagram, I don't like the how do I say this? That would make sense. I kind of don't like the way that everybody's going with these kind of like videos and things that they do on Instagram about jiu-jitsu.
Like,
whether it be in their stories or whether it be like a post where they have like a video, somebody who's great at it's like Muhammad.
Yeah, everybody's trying to be Muhammad these days. Yeah, Muhammad's successful.
Everybody's trying to be Muhammad.
Everybody's trying to be a vlogger like Muhammad, yeah.
And it's not just
it's more power to them. They're doing something positive, but it's like, yeah, you got to find your own way. Yeah.
Turn your camera on and follow through your day. Your day is unique.
Yeah, yeah.
Stop trying to be a philosopher. Do you know what I'm saying? No one comes here for a philosophy lesson. People are here to see, what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do, Mike? How do you train? Let me see what makes you so special. I'm sure people want to see a video of me getting up in the morning and going to lift some heavy-ass weight because not a lot of people do it. That's a unique thing. People want to see that. And people would see me in my element doing what I do. Not me trying to teach the youth, you know, some like deep lesson and things like this. It's like, I know a lot of people like it and eat it up, but we're talking about vulnerable people and that you're targeting this audience that already puts you on a pedestal because you're high level.
Yeah, yeah.
Or because you're good. And they're just going to eat up whatever you say.
The inspirational quotes.
They're just going to eat up whatever you say. And you know it's not generic. You don't believe that. You don't live like that.
The inspirational quotes. The inspirational quotes, people have them in the chamber when they go to compete. I used to say when I was a photographer, there's a direct correlation between how good somebody is and how quickly they ask me for a photograph after they lose. People that are good will hit me up maybe like 3 days later or something. People who are like lose first, I'll see the guy lose. 15 minutes later, I'll have a thing in my Instagram. Hey, do you have any photos of my match? Like, man, you're supposed to be distraught right now. Like they have the quote ready to go. It's in the chamber. They just need a photo, and then they got their post about pans or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty interesting.
And look, you won or you lost. You won or you lost. Hey, I won. Hey, I went this. Hey, I went that. We don't need a break. No one asked for a breakdown.
Yeah.
No one asked for a breakdown on your social media. Yo, well, the fight started out as blah 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 blah, and there's like
I lost
in thing like this to the public.
I lost in the quarterfinals to the champion, but no, you leave out that was the very first match. Yeah. What about?
Who cares who was the champion? It was the first fight. I mean, it didn't matter. Or it was the second fight. Just say that you lost.
Something that's a big topic in the sport, and I want to hear your honest opinion on it right now. Something that's going on is obviously this is Kynan was the number 1 pound for pound guy. He tested positive for something, Austrian. I don't even know what it was, but I mean, it seems like it was a slap on the wrist. He got a year, so it couldn't have been that bad. I don't know what the details were. What do you think about the situation? I mean, he was the number 1 pound for pound guy, ADCC champ, IBJJF world champ. What do you think about the situation with PEDs in the sport? Some people, you hear a lot of different projections about how bad it is, this and that. What do you think it's like out there? Do you think the sport's overrun with it, or what?
So before I go on, because I know there's already people accusing me, I have passed my drug test by USADA from Nogi Worlds. I haven't shared it on social media for the reason being it is your fucking job to pass the test if you get tested in in an event. I don't think that you should share, and that's not a blow at Kainan whatsoever. Don't take it that way.
Yeah.
It's just the thing that you shouldn't be sharing that you passed your test.
It's expected.
Because you should pass your test. If you share something, it should be that you failed.
Yeah.
You know? So props to Kainan on not going into the bullshit that when people were accusing him. I really did feel like kind of bad for him. I think that some people were kind of attacking him, and there was no proof. We didn't know anything. And,
back in the BJJ steroids days.
Exactly. Back when that fucking page was up talking about everybody who was on steroids. He stayed really cool and kind of felt bad for him, like I said. And I have a lot of respect for how he accepted the punishment and he made his post.
He didn't make the claim like, oh, I accidentally ate my friend's candy bar or whatever. Yeah. So I mean, he went the Paul Meow route. He sucked it up.
Yep. And I think that was very classy. He's not.
You might as well, because nobody's going to believe you if you have that excuse anyways. Nobody.
You failed the test. I mean, no one can believe you. There's proof that you failed, right? So like what how he posted, I'm saying is the proper way to post.
Yeah.
You shouldn't post, I'm a clean athlete because you passed your test. Well, you're supposed to pass your test. No one talks about that. Yeah. You're supposed to have your test passed. I mean, that's just how it goes. But do I think that the steroids in the sport are so rampant, like these people think that these Brazilian kids have been on it since they were 12? I don't think it's that way. I don't think it's like anything crazy like some people think. They talk about how kids from Brazil have been on it since they were teens, and if you're like a professional in jiu-jitsu, you have to take it. I don't think it's like crazy like this, for one. And I don't think it's any worse or better than any other sport. I just think that the testing with the IBJJF and events like this, I think is a little bit light, soft.
Because it's not random.
I think we're in the middle of the road here. Either you're going to start testing more people or don't fucking test anybody. You know, let's stop throwing darts at a board and testing 4 or 5 people randomly, and then we can let another 120 get away with it because we don't have our eye on them. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right. I think you test the large majority, or you don't test anybody, because it's not fair to only test 20% and then take away from those guys. I don't think that's the right thing to do.
I guess it's a tough situation because it's not like the Olympics where you can just have like governing bodies and all this who are like.
I think it's tough, and I'm not defending the use of any kind of things like that. I don't think that if you're but what I'm saying is if you're deciding to test, you have to do it for real, because it's very unfair. I mean, who's going to walk in? Let's say I walk into your work and I'm going to like hook you guys up to a fucking lie detector test, and if you fail, you're done. But I'm only going to test you and Reed. Yeah. And the other 50 guys at your work can go and run around and do whatever they want. But if you two fail, I'm going to you're done. 4 years out of work. You know, that's ridiculous. That doesn't make sense. And you're sitting there going, well, I know he does, or I know he's on it, or I know this. And it just creates bullshit. It just creates a lot of drama, you know? It creates a lot of people at home who got nothing to do, like on Facebook, accusing Kainan of being like some science project and all these things, and just accusing him and accusing this guy and accusing that guy. I mean, don't think people are not like, people never forget about Paulo's failed drug test. People never forget about Felipe Pena failing for drugs. People never forget these things.
Yeah. Well,
people never forget that Braulio failed for some pre-workout.
Yeah.
And people still are up in arms about it.
Well, it's not as bad as other sports like baseball and stuff. They go crazy on him. What is Osterine? What is Osterine? What's his? What's it do? What's the shit do?
So Osterine, from what I can tell, is like in Canada you can get a whole bottle of basically Osterine, 60, 80 capsules. It's basically just something that you find in like test boosters and some creatines and things that aren't banned substance tested that you get from Vitamin Shop or that you get from supplement stores can have Osterine in it.
So that's why he got a year. Yeah.
Dude, John Jones was failing for something similar to Osterine, and he was getting it from supplements, and it was proven that he was. I mean, there's been a lot of cases where guys have failed for something Osterine or along the same chain as Osterine, and they've been acquitted, or they've been, their sentence reduced. I think that's why Kainan only got a shorter amount of time. I mean, Tayani got 4 years.
She's screwed. She's done. 4 years is a career killer. That's yeah. I mean, Tyna's kind of still young. 1 year, he'll be like 22 when he's done with this suspension. I mean, it's done in June. He's good.
And you can already tell Kainan's big focus is these events where he's making money and professional.
That's what Keenan said to me last week when I was in California. He goes, "Man, I sort of wish I'd get suspended. Then you only got to do stuff you get paid at for a few months." So,
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with. Okay, now Kainan doesn't have his world title, but he'll come back and get his world title back.
He'll get more. He'll get several more. Yeah.
And then he doesn't need to. But after it won, you don't need to do anything.
Yeah.
Like, it's a huge relief to me that now I'm a black belt world champion as an adult, because now there's no gun to your head. There's no you're against the clock, kid. No, yeah. I already did it. Yeah. I already did it. It's time for me to enjoy.
Yeah.
After my hand was raised and everything, after everything like that, there's no gun to your head. There's no time against the clock. The main goal, the reason that everybody wanted to do this and everybody started this sport, I did it,
So we got, I'm going to change the subject. We got coming up on Wednesday, the first episode of the Daisy Fresh videos is coming out. We got 2 40-minute episodes ready. You're featured in them.
Yeah.
You go back with these guys. You train with them. Why don't you explain who these guys are a little bit and what the situation is with that crew?
So, the Daisy Fresh boys, the Wiltsey brothers, the Pedigo submission fighting. Heath Pedigo's a guy in Mount Vernon, Illinois. He's got a strong team of competitors. For the longest time, it was pretty much blue and purple belt competitors. And now the Wiltsey boy, Andrew, he's older. He's a black belt now. So now they finally have some world-class talent at black belt, but they're pretty much just lower-ranked guys, adult through masters. And they won everything. And they were hard-working, hard-nosed guys. They were trained in Mount Vernon, Illinois. Anybody who's going to watch the video is going to see that you might not believe it's probably you watching at home, you can't handle it there. You probably can't get with it there because it's hardcore. It's intense, man. These guys sleep on the floor. There's a propane heater blowing in there in the winter. Your toes are all cold. The mat's cracked. There's just, it's just a different building. It's a different town. It's a different city. And it builds just a different mindset and a different work ethic. And it's something that I love to be around. I love to be there. I compete for money, and I have a gym that I train at that's beautiful and state-of-the-art, but I love to go down there and grind, man. I love to be in there with those guys and live that life, live that kind of wild man life. I think it produces guys that have a far different mindset, guys who really are hungry and chasing a dream because they sacrificed everything,
You bring them up to Ohio sometimes now, right? You're shipping those guys up from time to time.
For sure, man. I'm going to try and train with them as much as I can. I'm going to try and get with those guys at least, once a month, whether they got to bring them out here or I'm going down there. However I got to do it, man, I'm going to train with those guys. And he's awesome. I mean, he's a great mind for jiu-jitsu, and in the corner, he's the best.
Yeah.
He's the best.
I think you're sort of an unofficial Daisy Fresh member because, people see in the videos, Heath cornered you when you won your world title. Heath was in your corner. How'd that come about?
So, when Jaime and I were fighting, it was probably best to not have anybody GF team involved directly. I'm not going to say, whose side you're going to be on if you're on GF team, but for the most part, I don't want anybody to, have any kind of thing that they could have said, that was unfair or he sided with him instead of him. So, a guy from Fight Sports cornered Jaime, and I asked Heath to corner me.
What's Wiltsey like? What's Andrew like?
You hear me talk about him in the video, so
yeah,
you'll hear more about it. But man, he's what's he like in jiu-jitsu, or what's he like in real life?
Both. Let's go personality wise because he's an interesting guy.
He's a fucking interesting guy. He lives on orange chicken and Rain energy drinks. For one, I mean, he loves the computer. He loves computer games and things like that. He's not a huge fan of sleep or any kind of nutrition or hydration. He's kind of a shy, quiet guy, but he's a really, really good guy. He's really, really tough, and in the training room, man, he's just an absolute terror. I think that's just the best way to describe him. He's just an absolute terror out there. It's always a tough match. It's always a scramble. You always take damage when you train with him. So he's the guy who's just super hard to train with, and he's the one mostly that I think embodies everything that he stands for and talks about. When he's on the competition mat, he's super confident, and that's the guy who's just attacking forward, pressure, 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 and he embodies pretty much everything that Heath talks about. I feel like I kind of do too, and that's why Heath and I really click as far as like when he corners me and I'm competing between like a kind of like coach and athlete in that situation. He and I click really, really well because I can respond to those kind of that wrestling mentality, that Midwest mentality he has to just go, go, go. And Andrew's like a little monster, man.
Yeah, that's like, we go back with them because like when I started working freelance for Flo and I did my photo essays back in my photography days, back when I was still shooting, I think the first two I did was I went to Pedigo, I did a photo essay, and I went to Ohio, I did one on you in Gutenberg, because we all knew each other from the Midwest, because back in the day, Chicago Open was like, that was like a major tournament for if you're from the Midwest. That was the only IBJJF. Everybody would be there. Yeah.
That was it.
So yeah, I got to know all you guys from there. But yeah, so that'll be on Wednesday the 19th, the first episode. You're featured a little bit in the first episode. Second episode that's in at Nogi World, you're featured a lot more. But it's gonna be really cool. We got 2 40-minute episodes done. It's gonna blow people's mind, I think. All right.
Whoever's watching, definitely check it out. This is not like anything anybody's seen before in jiu-jitsu. There's no beaches, there's no surfing, there's no waves. If you want to get to real hard work and you want to put yourself in that mindset, you watch this 40-minute video that Flo is making for sure.
Okay, so we're a little over an hour now. Let's close it out. What can people expect out of you and Tyrone Tillo coming up at GrappleFest 8 on February 29th?
I think it's going to be a great fight, man. I really do. The kid's shown that he can go through some adversity. I saw him getting in some bad spots in ADCC. He escaped really well. He looks like he doesn't slow down. He usually doesn't get tired. So I think he's going to be able to push the pace and keep up with a really, really high pace, high energy. I think it's going to be super, super exciting, man. I think it's going to be a high-energy fight.
All right, cool. Thank you very much, Dante. Thanks for taking the time to do this, man. All right,
Mike,
thanks.
Appreciate being the first one, brother. Let's do it again.
Os.